Okay, if everybody's in their seats and the doors close. I'm Joan Smith. I'm very pleased to be here today. Some of you will know that I write a great deal about religion, which is, I have to say, one of the subjects that interests me least in the world. And having grown up in this country and argued with Christianity for about the first 25 years of my life, I've spent the last 10 arguing with Islam and other faiths. So I kind of feel forced into taking positions on all this when I'd rather go dancing or buy some shoes, but there we are. So this afternoon we're going to talk about multiculturalism versus universal human rights. And if we go down the panel from this end, we have Rumi Hassan, whose very, very good book on the drawbacks of multiculturalism I read earlier this year. Some of you will know it. Rumi is at Sussex University, and his book is a very, very clear exposition of what is wrong with multiculturalism and the mess it's got us into. And I think is it published by Politicos?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. And next on my right is Geeta Sehgal, who I'm sure needs very little introduction. Worked for Amnesty International and was suspended after taking a stand because of Amnesty's, I think, I agree with her, too tolerant view towards Islamism. And then at the far end we have, of course, Peter Tatchell, who doesn't need any introduction. And Mariam Namazi. And we're going to start with Miriam Heli Lucas, who is going to sing for us. And this is
I'm not going to sing for you.
Sorry. There's a DVD of a song and demonstrations in Algeria, which is about resistance to religious law in Algeria. So I think we're going to start with that.
No, I'm not going to sing. Maybe we can have.
Just one moment while the DVD starts. Well, maybe we'll come back to that when you're ready. What I'd like to ask the panelists to do to start with is, if we start with Rumi, to say a little about what they think about multiculturalism and where it stands in relation to the idea of universal human rights. So maybe you can each speak for 3 or 4 minutes, starting with Rumi.
I thought it was about 7 to 10 minutes.
Oh.
All right. Tracy, multiculturalism, the key essence is the idea that people from different backgrounds have different cultures, and this term is especially relevant to Western societies when you had people of different backgrounds who happen to also be ethnic minorities, often from the former colonies. So they have come, and there's a recognition that... Oh, that's better. So I hope you heard. Start again. Okay. So multiculturalism is the idea that within society there are people of different cultural backgrounds, but it's particularly true of ethnic minorities who have come from different lands, often from the former colonies, whose culture, broadly defined, tends to be rather different to the indigenous population. Okay, so the idea then is that society has become multicultural. The people of different cultures are residing within the society. Now, what the argument is that one should not take a normative stance on this issue. This is the proposition of cultural relativism, that we tolerate all cultures, okay? Not only do we tolerate all cultures, we show them respect. And the key term that multiculturalists use is a term by the Canadian philosopher Charles Taylor, is that we show recognition to the culture and by extension to the religion of people of different backgrounds, okay? Then the argument builds up to say that, look, we recognize that we have people of different cultural and religious backgrounds. We should call on officialdom, governments, be they national or local, to celebrate these differences. Not only to celebrate, then we should allocate resources to people of different cultural and religious backgrounds. So this is how, if you like, this model, if you like, of society is building up. In Britain, this culminated in a report in 2000 by the Runnymede Trust, chaired by the academic Bhikkhu Parekh, who became Lord Parekh, and it was called The Future of Multi-Ethnic Britain. And this report recommended that the UK government designate the UK as being a multicultural society, okay? This didn't happen. There was a lot of opposition, but 10 years ago, this idea wasn't so outlandish, because in popular terms, commentators in the media would refer to Britain having become a multicultural society. Moreover, there was a precedent. In Canada, the Canadian Parliament passed an act, a Multiculturalism Act of 1988, which does deem Canada to be a multicultural society. Okay, I don't know how long I've got. I can come back on points later, okay? Now I want to point out that since 9/11 in particular, we have had the move towards multi-faithism, the sense that, yes, we have people of different cultural backgrounds, but particularly we have people of different faith backgrounds, people of different religions, for whom their religion, their faith, is a very, very important self-descriptor. It is who they are, it's their self-identity, and therefore we must show that respect. And then we go one step further, because remember, the argument is that we must provide resources to different people. We have to celebrate the facts that are differences. Now, people from these so-called faith communities, which the government deems them as such, both the previous Labour government and now the current coalition government, starts dealing with these faith communities, okay? Now, faith communities say, aha, well, okay, we want separate rights, exemptions to the law, separate provisions, okay? And therefore you begin to see the breaking down of universalism, the fact that a law should apply to all. There should be equality before the law. So what you have seen is this slippery slope of multiculturalism to multi-faithism, and we are now on the road to what can be described as legal pluralism, okay? My point is, this is divisive, it accentuates the segregationist dynamic, and moreover, it accords privileges to people of a cultural and religious background. And we accord privileges to their belief system, not to who they are. They are equal before the law, so the law should protect ethnic minorities, so there should be no racism or discrimination on the grounds of who they are, you know, like we're of a darker hue, but we do not afford protection because people say our beliefs determine who we are. No, beliefs are separate. They're not human beings, they're not special. So this is a very, very dangerous, slippery slope that we're on now. And I argue very passionately in my book, that we need to turn the tide if we want to move towards a society which is less divisive, and we want greater social cohesion. Thank you.
Thank you. Geeta, can I ask you to